I used to be, just outraged at being so questioned, but I had to realize that, this is pretty strong stuff.
In 1989, Alex Newold, a New Zealand guy, went missing for 10 days. Suddenly, it's discovered that his disappearance wasn't just a weird mystery. Later, it's revealed that he had been snatched up by aliens. It was a full-blown sci-fi thriller, a world truth revelation, and so many mischievous clues. Come, let's dive into the details. In early February 1989, a man got into his car in his native hometown Rotorua and drove to the city of Auckland, New Zealand. The journey from Rotorua to Auckland took 3 hours, which was normal. When he got to his destination, he was met with cheers, sadness, happiness, anxiety, and every other form of positive emotion from the people who greeted him. Even the police came around to see him. He was confused by his newfound celebrity status. He asked what the whole ruckus was about, and that's when he was told he had been missing for 10 days. How did a 3-hour journey turn into a journey that lasted 10 days? This was the question that only the man Alec Newold could answer. The only problem was that Alec had no idea where he had been or how he'd been missing for 10 days. When worried family members asked him where he'd been, he was unable to give a clear answer. To top it off, he started suffering from terrible headaches and tiredness and had trouble focusing. This was beginning to be the norm for Alec until he started remembering bit by bit, and finally he remembered what happened. The revelation was shocking, not just to his family, but to the whole world. It turned out that Alec was abducted by aliens. Alec originally thought that he was dead and that his spirit was going from this world to the next. Then several weird-looking creatures appeared in front of him. At first, he thought they were ghosts, but they looked really weird. The idea of ghosts didn't sound plausible. The creatures looked very thin, about average height, and had big heads and eyes that were very narrow compared to humans. Their faces were bigger, and then it dawned on him that these were aliens. This is how they look, even though they didn't say anything with their mouth. Alec could feel them in his head right away, like they were telepathically talking to him. The alien told him that he would not stop Alec if he wished to leave, but he hoped he would stay because they were willing to share so much knowledge about everything to guide humanity. After this encounter, he was taken to their city, which Alec described in his book as being so neat and large that he could not make up their boundaries. Yes, he wrote a book about his experience titled Coevolution, an interplanetary adventure. Alec's description of the alien city made the buildings on Earth look small in comparison. There may well have been bigger cities on Earth, but where I come from, this place would be really big, very big. It stretched out in both directions, following the coastline out of my line of sight, and there seemed to be only a thin strip of land that was not coastline or desert, and the city was sandwiched within it. The last thing really to make an impact on him was the lack of tall buildings, save for the odd tower or two, and the dominance of small circular shapes among a few larger pyramid-shaped constructions. They appeared to be made from material that looked just like tinted glass or semi-transparent plastic. In his book, Alec makes drawings of the buildings he sees. He went on and on about the architecture of the buildings he saw, even describing the house and room he was staying in, and he was stunned by the beauty. But sightseeing wasn't the major reason why he was abducted. It was for the aliens to pass the knowledge onto him, and in turn he would pass the same knowledge onto others. According to the aliens, Earth's history had a lot of stories that had never been told. Most of this information about the Earth's true history is now carefully guarded by a small group of hidden sects that are active in keeping this information from ever reaching the public. There are a lot of things about the universe that only a selected few know about, and the public is left to fill in the gaps to the best of their abilities. However, these sects were not always secret. When they were given this information, the original plan was for this ancient information to be shared with everyone, but guess plans changed. The aliens talked about two species of the human race, Homo sapiens and the Cro-Magnon. Apparently both Homo sapiens and the Cro-Magnon precursor species were created by the one alien group. Most of the information revealed to him was by a female alien known as Xena. She told Alec about how some people came to Earth and how others stayed back. Even the pyramids of ancient legacies left behind by some of her ancestors to help awaken us when the time is right. She talks about how the Earth is special and beautiful, and because of that, there's a lot of external forces that desire Earth for its own purpose. According to Xena, the Dark Force is still among us. After this force won our planet, it realized it would have a continuous fight on its hands, for you were not as you are now. You were well on your way to enlightenment with a very strong spiritual base, were actually almost as strong as the Force itself. Yes, he was given a ride in a spaceship. He was sent back to Earth to the same location he was before the abduction. This would explain why to him it felt like time never passed, because he was in the same car, but in reality he had just spent 10 days on an alien planet. When Alec released just a snippet of this information to the public, what happened to him next was nothing short of a thriller movie. There were no words that could describe the events that happened to him next. The police thesis, the scientists, the CIA, everybody wanted to know about these aliens Alec talked about. And they weren't asking nicely. He started noticing things. He was being followed by the same car he had never seen before, and all of a sudden parked at the end of his street, just 2 houses before him. So he decided to move to a new place and environment, but still he was followed. When they couldn't follow him anymore, they decided to make contact with him and ask questions one time. He was weakly accused of being a Nazi just because his father's ancestry could be traced back to Germany. Meanwhile, he had lived in New Zealand for his whole life. Alec thought that the world had a right to know, and that was what prompted him to write his book. So even if this was all fiction and made up, why did the agency try so much to make him talk? This was before he published this book. The only logical argument is that they believed Alec's statement and wanted the information from him so badly. If they could kidnap him and take him to a black site, they'd probably do that. But that would mean Alec is telling the truth. Did he really meet aliens? The truth is, this sounds more like fiction than reality. Alec claimed that humans are related to aliens and that the aliens are related to humans from the future. And knowing how to move through time is interesting. The ETS Alec met were almost extinct because of choices their ancestors' people from Earth made, so they regularly go back in time to change things for the better in the present. So they can make their own lives better, which is amazing and similar to almost all sci-fi stories. On top of that, all that Alec writes in his book is about a relationship he had with a female alien that he says was out of this world beautiful both in a physical and figurative sense. He even claims to have been prepared by the aliens when he was younger, trying to build a history of his life before his famous abduction to create a narrative that he was predestined for the very event that happened in his life, like a prequel to a good movie. Even if you don't believe in his story of being abducted, the book itself can make quite a good fiction novel. Either way, let us leave you with this thought. There is a serious possibility that we're being visited and have been visited for many years by people from outer space by other civilizations. Who they are, where they are from, and what they want should be the subject of rigorous scientific investigation, and not be the subject of rubbishing by tabloid newspapers. So, what do you think? Was he abducted, or is he just a great writer? Comment below with your thoughts, and share the video. For more such videos, like and subscribe.